All right, guys. Something very. I didn't think. Well, you know what? I actually did think this. The media, the Canadian media, and in particular the Toronto media, have really done something very disgusting. And this just goes back to this whole racism word. This word, which is being abused by globalist white people for political purposes, is something that really pisses me off. It really does. I don't appreciate privileged, uh, well heeled, globalist white people, and this is on the left and the right, using a word which people like myself and other minorities need in order to protect ourselves from some very disgusting people, and that is the word racism. And don't let anyone tell you that there is no racism out there. But when globalist white people use that word to for their own political gain, to scare their political opponents, that's something that disgusts me, because that means that the word is slowly becoming less and less relevant. And this is not a joke. And I'm not saying this to make people on the right comfortable. I'm saying this from a personal point of view. I'm not here to make you comfortable. And the reason I'm so hot under the heels is because the NCA leader, Stephen Garvey, is now being called racist by the media. And it's not like they're saying he's been accused of racism or someone called him racist. They're saying he himself is racist. They are saying he is racist. They are saying he's racist. They are agreeing with the people accusing him of being a racist, that he's a racist. And I'll tell you what's going on. Gurratan Singh, a Brampton member of provincial parliament, so he's a member of the Ontario legislature, so this is Ontario politics, he got into a confrontation with the NCA leader Stephen Garvey at some Muslim fest. Now, I don't know what the hell Stephen was doing there. I think I have my ideas, and I'll get into that. But Stephen went there and said, what's your view on Sharia law as somebody who is not Muslim? Because Gurratan is not Muslim. And, there are a bunch of stupid rednecks out there who say that people like Gurratan and Jagmeet Singh, they're Muslim because they have head stuff on. Those are uneducated people. Those are cousin humpers. They are descended from cousin. These are Sikhs. And I don't think Sikhs are any better, actually. That's two religions I don't like, Hinduism and Islam. In fact, many of those Indian religions, I don't like them. None of them. I think they're all barbaric, evil, racist. They belong in the dustbin of history along with Islam. I don't like either. I don't like them. And I know there are people on the right who say, oh, Hinduism. No, I don't like Hinduism. I don't care for it one bit. And I think we should, those people riding in the motorcycle with those Hindu wrappings on their head, either they put on a helmet, or if they get into an accident, we shouldn't have to pay for their medical expenses. But anyway, Stephen said, as somebody who's not even Islam, what do you think of Sharia law or Sharia? And Gurratan said, I will always stand up to your racism. I defy people like you. You're this and that, blah, 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 blah. And the media's headlines are Gurratan Singh confronts a racist. That was actually CP24's headline on Facebook. He confronts a racist. They don't say he is accused NCA leader Stephen Garvey of racism. They say he confronts a racist. Some unknown racist from the bushes, from the trees, from the jungle. This guy is a racist, and he got confronted by Gurratan. That's how the media is portraying this. Well, let's dig into this. Number one, and I apologize if I sniffle and cough. I just recovered from a cold. That's why I haven't been making videos in a while. But number one, Islam is not a race. It's not a race. It's never going to be a race. Islam is a multiracial religion practiced by people of every race all over the world. White people, black people, brown people, Chinese people, all sorts of different people from all over the world practice Islam. If you have a logically thinking brain, you're not mentally retarded, and you're not some amphibian or some reptile or something like that, you are potentially going to belong to a race which somebody in that race practices Islam. So it's not a race. So you can criticize Islam all you want. You can even be Islamophobic. I am Islamophobic. I am. I'm afraid of it. I don't like it. I'm not racist. Now, we'll get into why I think it was a mistake for Stephen to do this. Because you guys notice even I myself don't go on about Muslim this and Muslim that. In fact, you'll sooner hear me talking about Zionism, the dangers of Zionism, as opposed to the dangers of Islam. Because that one is more deadly. I'll get to that in a minute. And I know some people get angry when I say that. I say to hell with you. Jump in the nearest hellfire. But number two, and this is more important, and this is where I get myself even more upset with the media, because it seems that we've come to a point where the media have forgotten that Islam is a religion. We've passed that. You know, they're beyond repair with that one. They don't get it. They'll never get it. It's like talking to brick ass telling them that. But more importantly, for you to call Stephen a racist when he has actually been on record defending refugees, Syrian refugees, for God's sake, is Iraqi refugees. Stephen Garvey, this person who you say is a racist, actually, when it was unpopular to do so, said, hey, stop this foolishness. I didn't agree with him. But he said, hey, you believe what you want. I think we need to help refugees. They need to come to Canada. Stephen Garvey of the NCA, he believed that. I don't know if he still does, but he believed it. He believed it. And, you know, I interviewed him, and what he said was, you know, at the end of the day, I have a heart, and I understand what human beings go through. And despite the fact that it could be a Trojan horse, and it very well might be, and I think he's even said, you know, maybe this isn't a good idea, though I still have a heart, at the end of the day, I'm not just going to bury my head in the sand when it comes to human suffering. That's what he told me. He told me that. He didn't say that it was a mistake. He didn't say any of that. He said that he has a heart. And he really has a hard time agreeing with someone like me saying we shouldn't let any Islamic refugee in here because they are not being persecuted. Not by Bashar, not by ISIS, not by anyone. They're not. But he says, look, and I never got it out of him. I knew the guy wasn't racist. I couldn't get it out of him. No racist would ever say something like, would ever agree to let even a single one refugee in. In fact, I'll even say that Stephen lost a lot of support from not educated people, but he lost a lot of support from very uneducated people, unreasonable people, because of that view. And he still has people today on the right who say that he's a sellout. I think he did this deliberately, this whole thing going to Muslim Fest. The reason I think he did it was so that he could show people, and maybe it is a nudge and a wink to real racists, but I wouldn't say that, because at the end of the day, I don't think that we should allow Islamic refugees in here. Not because I don't like Islamic people. In fact, in many ways, I like Islamic people more than some. Muslims, I should say. Muslims. I like them more than some people. I won't say who. But I think he did that just so he could show people, look, I'm still a nationalist after all, and I still, this and that, believe in this whole anti-Muslim, anti-Islamic thing. I am anti-Islam. I am anti-Islam. I know I am. I don't like Sharia. Just because I say that we need to have a heart when it comes to human beings doesn't mean I like Sharia. I don't like Sharia. And he went out there to make a point, and now he's all over the news and everything like that. And I think it was a mistake for him to do that. I think what he should do is do what Nigel Farage is doing, or did. He creates this new party, the Brexit Party. It's only been around for a couple of days, and he made himself to a point where the Conservatives had to rely on him, and they were making mistakes when Theresa was in there, and for a time he was ahead. So Stephen should, because he knows he's not going to win. I've endorsed him, but he's not going to win. He doesn't have enough people. He doesn't have enough name recognition. Now he has name recognition, and he did this to get name recognition, but he should try to get a conservative minority. And by the way, don't tell me anything about PPC. I'm not endorsing PPC. I've endorsed Stephen, even though I probably won't even be able to vote for him because I don't even think there's an NCA person running in my constituency. But I'm not going to endorse no PPC. There's a fraud. Pernay's a fraud. And I'll keep saying it because I love triggering those PP pants people because they make it so easy. He's a fraud. Anybody with a brain would know that. He wants to get rid of he's sabotaging the dairy industry, bringing more globalism to the dairy industry. The only reason you people are supporting him is because some immigration nonsense, getting rid of UN, which is, I don't know how that's going to happen. I mean, I support getting rid of the UN, but I don't know how that's going to happen. You're going to withdraw from the UN, but, that's the only reason you support him. And even if you get out of the UN, that's not going to do anything. The UN has no power to do anything to us. Whether we're in or we're out, they can't do anything to us. They have no law. They have nothing. It's not like the European Union where they do have legislation and all sorts of stuff like that. So, it's people who don't know how to think will just hear certain things. But I think he did it deliberately, Stephen. Because he knows there are people who don't like him because of that little faux pas of his of having a heart for people. Just even if they're not living in Canada. You even had Sandra Solomon, that idiot who I cannot stand. She's a Zionist. She's obnoxious. Sandra Solomon. There's a video of her yelling at Stephen, screaming at him like some crazy woman from the jungle. And she is from the jungle anyway, from the desert, I should say. Because he invited some Muslim person to speak at a rally. I don't know if it was a Yellow Vest rally or some nationalist rally or something like that. And he was a nationalist as well, just like Ian Hershey Ali in the Netherlands. She's Muslim, or she used to be, and she's a nationalist. And the guy was speaking there, and she didn't want to see any Muslims speaking there. I think that's what the video was about. So, there are people out there who don't like him because he's flexible. So for the media to call him racist without even looking at all of those things is irresponsible, sloppy journalism. Sloppy journalism. And they're not saying that he's been accused, They're saying he is racist. That's irresponsible journalism. So that's me calling out the Canadian media for falsely calling Garvey a racist. First of all, he didn't attack any race. Islam is not a race. Islam is practiced by whites, it's practiced by blacks, it's practiced by Chinese, it's practiced by Indian people, it's practiced by Japanese people, it's practiced by Hispanics. Anybody can be an Islamic person. It's not a race, it's a religion. It's an ideology. People criticize religions all the time. There's nothing wrong with being Islamophobic. Come to think of it, there's nothing wrong with being anti-Semitic either, because Judaism is also a religion. So when people attack Zionism and falsely say that attacking Zionism is being anti-Semitic, hey, there's nothing wrong with being anti-Semitic either, because Judaism is a religion. It's just that it's practiced by white people. So real racists will say that Islam, you can criticize that, but you can't criticize Jews. But anyway, that's my thing on this whole thing. And this is the Arana Nation. Nation.